Hello, we're Matthew and Wade here. In this video, we'll be reviewing and analyzing Canjun Does, written by James Patterson and Tucker Awesome. Here's a copy of the book right now. I actually had this physical book that was given to me for my birthday last year on October 22nd. So, there you go. So, instead of bringing up an image, I have the actual book. So, usually I read them on a Kindle or something like that, but in this case, I read the physical copy. So, it's a pretty cool book, as you can see. So, there you go. I am good. I hope you are. I will go over some topics in this book. I'll let you know my rating at the end of this video. The book has 3 parts, and each part has a different name. Part 1 is called No Good Deed Goes Unpunished. Part 2 is called The Gaijin. Part 3 is called In Dirt Did Nuts First Der Tigervergen. Guys, I've never taken German, so I hope that sounded very close to it. I'll go through each of the 3 parts in this review. In part 1, which is called No Deed Goes Unpunished, King tries to protect the Secret Service's reputation. One of the Secret Service agents has sex with a prostitute in one of the assignments in the country in South America. It would have put POTUS in danger and embarrassed the U.S. government and the Secret Service. He pays the prostitute $300 for having sex with Tom Jackson, nicknamed Tom Jack. She wanted $600, but King decided to pay her $300. She later decides to report this to the police, and this is not good for King. He must go back to Washington, D.C. Lori Hayes, which King calls the King, tells him that the SAC wants to see him. This will not be good. King later sees the service therapist. King says that he is fine. With the SAC, this is a setup to get him to spy on the other agents. As King says, the other agents will not trust him if he does that. He refuses to do that and loses his job. King returns to Louisiana to go back home. He rides his motorcycle back home. He gets home and he runs into his old high school girlfriend. He later has a fight with her ex-husband when he tries to abuse her and her son. He later tells them, I'm going to Japan. Bonnie offered him a job to go to Japan. He goes after Lori Hayes, told him that Tom Jack had decided to be the SAC's mole. In part 2, which is called the Gaijin, which means foreigner, King flies on the plane to Japan. He tells people he's hot. The Japanese flight attendant tells him that Japanese do not like it that cold. He tells her, I cannot take all my clothes off. Of course he would not do that, he was joking. He arrives and meets Bonnie, his twin sister, in Japan. She is dressed in a blue flight attendant uniform. His twin sister works for United Airlines. She loves him and she tells him that she did not approve of his old high school girlfriend. King tells her, you never approved of my girlfriend. Bonnie tells him that's not true, I approved of Claire, whom King married. King later meets Tanaka, who works for Mr. Sato. They stay in a castle hotel. Kay hated it because it was like sleeping in a coffin. I would not blame him, as I would hate to feel like I'm sleeping in a coffin. This means that the hotel was a tight space. Tanaka later takes King to meet Mr. Sato. King meets Yumiko, who works as Mr. Sato's secretary at the car company that he runs as the CEO. Mr. Sato tells King that he is worried about the Yakuza coming after him. The Yakuza is the Japanese mafia. They are no different than the Chinese triad and the Russian mafia, called the Bratva. Both the triad and the Bratva are brutal. You would not want to encounter them, and is no different with the Yakuza. King must train the security staff to be prepared to deal with a threat like the Yakuza. This is where King's military training, Secret Service training, come in handy. King wants Mr. Sato to travel by helicopter, but that does not work as there is fog. Mr. Sato says they must travel by car. This gives the Yakuza the opportunity to kill Mr. Sato. King stops the Yakuza with the help of Tanaka and Mr. Sato's driver being successful. King later goes to the Angel Cloud after saving Mr. Sato's life. There he meets Sabrina and figures out that she is Romanian. He later finds Bonnie there and gets in a fight with Yakuza. It is not good as it will have consequences. Gang goes on their retreat with Yumiko to Mount Fuji. This is where the Kendo class has taken him. This is a martial art that uses Zen, which borrows from Buddhist teachings. He later, with Yumiko's help, finds out that he needs to let go of the guilt that he's been carrying about his wife dying in a fire with their son in Thailand. After the retreat, Bonnie gets taken by the Yakuza. In part 3, which is called In Dirt Des Tigerfugen, this is where he must rescue Bonnie from the Yakuza. He does not have a lot of time to do this. King goes to the Japanese police, and they would not do anything about this. King is frustrated with the Japanese and their process. It is full of people that are afraid and full of government hacks, to say the least. The American embassy was no help. King has no choice but to go alone. He knows he must figure this out. Kane gets help from Yumiko and goes to the police with Yumiko. Kane felt the police was a waste of time. Kane rides the scooter that Yumiko gave him. It's kind of funny because it was a weird color shaped scooter. I'm not going to tell you what color it is, but it has a weird color. He has a weird helmet. So it's kind of funny. Kane finds the man who fought in the Angel Cloud after he got help from Champ Albright, the reporter from the South. Yes, the reporter is from the South. I mean the South, what we call the South in the United States, by the way. So that, just to clarify that. He kills the man at the tattoo parlor, the one he found at the Angel Cloud. And he's the grandson of the actual leader of the Yakuza, by the way. King must follow several clues to rescue his sister. King gets help from his old friend that he served in the Navy, named Chief Alvarez. That's not to reveal anymore, nothing more will be revealed here. It does bring the reader to the climax of the story. I give Caden Judges a 10 out of 10. It was well done. It was fast, fun, and kept the reader engaged. The plot was good and told relative stories. You have corruption, greed, and extortion all wrapped up in one story. That is relevant storytelling. Please check out www.matthewreview.com to check out why I decided to review and analyze checks, as well as check out my blog. You become a patron by going to the Patreon page. You can sign up for YouTube memberships if you're watching this video on YouTube. And you can always watch other videos of books. I'll have a playlist of all the book reviews I've done come up in the video. Doesn't mean it's going to come up here, but just maybe in another section of the video. But I will, or may. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day. Yes, you can still make requests of anything you want me to cover down the road. Thank you. Bye.